It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Cut! Okay, great, we got it. In 1969, the human race took its first tentative steps on the surface of the moon. Or so we're told. Since Neil Armstrong's giant leap for mankind, hundreds of conspiracy theories have been put forward, claiming the Apollo 11 moon landing was shot on a movie set. How is the American flag flapping in space? Where are the stars? And why would they do this? Today on Debunker, we're shooting for the stars and asking, was the moon landing faked? The year is 1969. Woodstock is rocking. The Manson family is horrifying. And NASA is putting a man on the moon. Less than a decade before, President John F. Kennedy promised the nation America would win the space race against what was then the Soviet Union. The question is, how far were they willing to go to keep that promise? The first rumblings that the moon landing was faked started to circulate after former U.S. Navy officer Bill Kaysing wrote a book entitled We Never Went to the Moon, America's $30 billion Swindle. In the book, Kaysing claimed that there was less than a 1% chance NASA could safely send astronauts to the moon, land them there, and safely return to Earth. It made more sense, he claimed, that the whole thing was faked. The reason? To embarrass the Russians and save face after America's handling of the Vietnam War. Many people started doubting the authenticity of the Apollo 11 footage and began to notice some strange events. For instance, the American flag was flapping in a breeze, which of course is impossible in the vacuum of space. Keen observers also noted the lack of stars, strange shadows, and conspicuous rocks with letters on them. A year before, 2001: A Space Odyssey showed what movie magic can do when it comes to space. Did NASA give their moon landing the Hollywood treatment? Well, I hate to disappoint you, but the moon landing was the real deal. So let's break this one down and start with that proud, majestic flag. Conspiracy theorists were right in saying a flag would not blow in a grand gesture like that in space. But here's where things get interesting. Rods were inserted into the flag to make it look better and compensate for the lack of wind. That added more gravitas to the image. Next on the list would be the stars, or lack thereof. Here's the thing. Have you ever tried to take a photo of stars during the day? Can't see much, can you? That's because the sun overpowers everything. The same thing happened up there on the moon. Those shots from the lunar surface are the equivalent of daytime photography. Okay, so we covered the light, but what about darkness? Those shadows look like some amateur filmmaking, don't they? Well, you gotta remember, rough and uneven surfaces don't reflect light smoothly. A light that bounces off an irregular surface can make a weird shadow. You try lighting some moon rocks. It's hard, okay? But what about that weird prop? You know, the rock with the C in the upper corner? That's gotta be an art direction goof, right? Today, we have conveniences with digital photography, but film, let alone film in space, can do some weird stuff. Sometimes, when you make enlargements from the original stock, debris can get in the way and mess up a print. Think of how overexposing a print can wash out the color, or a scratched negative can mess up an image. In this case, the original photo doesn't have a C on the stone. So, how did it get there? Well, a thread, Stray hair, maybe even a thin fingernail landed on the machine when the new image was made, resulting in the C shape. So here's the truth. As fun as it is to wonder if the moon landing was faked, 2 American astronauts did land on the moon in 1969. And even if you believe they didn't, that's not going to change the minds of the engineers who put them there. So we're considering this conspiracy debunked. What case do you want us to crack open next? Let us know in the comments below. This is Debunker, signing off. And remember, stay curious.